Welcome back to another one, guys. So let me show you what's going on here. As you may recall, I was able to get this thing out of the garage and down the street around the block where I had a little bit of trouble. I was able to limp it back home and get everything fixed out into the street, and then limp it back into the garage. And what happened was this shock mount broke, and I had to tack it back into place and able to get it back in the garage. And it's okay now, but I'm gonna have to completely rework this rear suspension. This left side suspension is pretty good. Everything's right where I initially put it. This side is about 10 degrees off, so I'm gonna have to cut that shock mount bracket back off and get everything adjusted back. Also, not sure if we can really tell here too well, but the rear end on this side is pushed in a little ways, so we're going to have to adjust these the 4-link suspension in order to get it realigned where it needs to be. So I kind of need to go ahead and adjust this entire thing, just rework the entire thing. But before I can do any of that stuff, I need to put a Panhard bar in so that this rear end stays where it's at right now. I like where it's at right now. This should work pretty good. So I need to get a Panhard in there, and I've got one here. And I'm not sure if all rear ends are this way. This is a Ford 8.8-inch rear end out of a Ford Explorer, I believe. But it's got these holes up here in the differential. I think I'm going to utilize these, build a bracket for it, and then run that Panhard bar up underneath the gas tank into the frame. But I need to build a couple things for that, some brackets for that. And we'll get this Panhard bar in there. Hopefully that'll be enough. I need to pull this thing out into the driveway, turn it back around. I want to be able to work on the entire suspension and have enough room. I don't have a lot of room back here, so I need to get it turned around. I also need to get it out into the driveway so that I can take some pictures for the insurance company. They want to see what I'm doing here. I guess they want to value it. I don't know what's going on, but they need pictures of the vehicle, so I'd like to get some pretty nice pictures out in the driveway. So that's what we're going to work on now, Panhard bar, and once we get it turned around, then we're going to rework the entire suspension. Okay, you got the Panhard bar welded up. I just made this bracket. It's a pretty simple bracket. It's just a base plate with I don't know, just a bracket on top to be able to put this bolt through. Same thing on the other side. It's welded to the frame. You can kind of barely see it under there, but it's just a bracket to make sure that that bolt goes through. That way the rear end hopefully stays exactly where it's supposed to, right there, and doesn't move back and forth this way. It can still move up and down. So we got it there. I got everything lowered down off of the dollies. So the rear end is actually sitting kind of nice. I mean, obviously I haven't changed the shock yet. I need to put that back into position, but where it sits right now with air in it, sitting kind of nice. I've got some space between that cross member and my drive shaft. So everything's looking pretty good. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing for a spin out there. I'm gonna take you guys along with me I think I owe you one after the last time. So hopefully this goes a little bit better than it did before. But we'll see. All right, here goes nothing. This will be first start up since I really got it back. The fuel pump. right, well, as you can see, we successfully made it back. Still have a little bit of issues with the rear end, so I'm gonna have to get that situated. See what happened. I see what happened. But yeah, we'll get it all fixed. And there you have it, out of the garage. So I think I'm going to take some time and get this disaster cleaned up the best that I can, and take some pictures for the insurance company. And then once I get this all cleaned up, we'll pull her back in and do some work on this rear end.